A bit of an interesting development has occurred with the Boeing 787 in Australia. While Qantas operates the 787, so does other Qantas group carrier, Jetstar, albeit utilising the services of the Dreamliner for very different operations. The 787s could, before the pandemic, mostly be seen, of course, around Australia, but also in the Asian region, offering up flights from cities down under. Now, however, multiple 787s have been grounded at the same time, for unique reasons that are also entirely possible in our industry, with in addition a very valid concern regarding spare parts that I will get onto. Let's begin with the premise of this development. Jetstar has said that it has grounded several of its Boeing 787 aircraft. It comes following a statement that was seen by the BBC only today. It also comes following passengers being stranded in locations across the Jetstar network. They would have typically relied on the 787 operations to get them from point A to point B. Over 4,000 passengers now have faced flight cancellations. The chief pilot at Jetstar said in a statement, "Unfortunately, our Boeing 787 fleet has been impacted by a number of issues, including a lightning strike, a bird strike, damaging from an item on the runway, and delays sourcing a specific spare part for one of our aircraft due to global supply chain challenges. The part has to be road freighted across the US. 3 of these groundings are certainly not out of the ordinary, but it is quite a sequence of events to happen all so close together, and therefore lead to the grounding. And then finally we have that other grounded 787, which is due to supply chain difficulties. I think this is something that is generally of even greater importance / also focus. Throughout the pandemic, supply chains were hit hard. Naturally, the lockdowns played a crucial role as we saw the world shut down for a period of time. However, as we've emerged from the pandemic, the issues have not necessarily slowed. Labour shortages have become a more pressing problem and resulted in further hampered supply chains, with simply the people working there unable to keep up with the demand levels. And as you can probably imagine, with parts coming from around the world for aircraft and to Australia in this example, it's a nightmare scenario if one part gets delayed. For Jetstar in this case, it has resulted in the immediate grounding of the said Boeing 787. During the 2022 Farnborough Air Show, in fact, supply chains were so important that it almost overshadowed order developments, with of course European aircraft manufacturer Airbus putting a key focus on sorting out those supply chain difficulties. At the end of the day, you can have as many discussions as you want, but sometimes it just becomes very difficult to fix in the current climate. Several, of course, of these groundings to the 787s are very straightforward fixes and can be quick turnarounds if the damage is deemed to be limited. However, as I said, supply chain pressures are ever present, and whether it is for their large fleet of A320s or the biggest aircraft they operate, in this case the 787, there's always a risk that something goes wrong that therefore leads to delays and passengers impacted. The tricky, and I want to reiterate, tricky job of the team leading these airlines and wider groups is to try and avoid that happening, or if it does happen, keep it minimal. To Daniel, Elliot, Leslie, Austin 9, Will, Jaden, Al lead the FlashCubing, Neil, Don, Stefan, and Jam. Thanks for being cabin crew members. Your support is greatly appreciated, and if you have any thoughts on the topic at hand, please do let me know below in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you tomorrow for more aviation content here on the channel.